2 years ago, my family was drowning, and no one around us even knew it. From the outside, we looked just like any other happy family. Every month, the bills came in faster than we could ever pay them. We were working harder than ever, yet somehow we kept falling further behind. We were always just one bad week away from losing everything we had. One broken car or one lost paycheck could have ended it all. And then, one night, everything we had been avoiding finally came to a head. That was the night we finally decided that something had to change. So we made two simple decisions that completely transformed our lives. We cut our bills down until they were almost nothing, and we took every single dollar we saved and started to prepare. What happened next genuinely surprised even us. Today, our pantry is full and our bills are tiny. The change did not happen overnight, but it truly did happen. There is money in the bank and there is calm in our home. And when hard times finally came knocking, we barely even felt them. While everyone else panicked, we simply carried on as normal. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how we did it. Every single step we took to cut our bills and build real security. This is not about extreme couponing or living a miserable life. We did not clip 1,000 coupons or eat plain rice every night. It is about a few simple changes that absolutely anyone can make. And by the end, I will reveal the one change that mattered the most. Because the thing that truly saved us was not at all what we expected. It was not the money, and it was not even the food. It was something far quieter and far more powerful than either. So stay with me, because this one decision could change everything for you too. Trust me, it is a story that is worth hearing all the way through. To understand what changed, you first have to understand how bad it had become. For years, we lived the exact same way that most families do. We chased comfort, and we never once questioned the cost. We earned a decent living, and then we spent almost all of it. Money came in, and money went out, and somehow nothing ever stayed. We paid for things we barely used and had almost stopped noticing. A little here and a little there, quietly draining us every single month. We never noticed the leaks because each one seemed so very small. We had almost nothing at all saved up for an emergency, and deep down we knew it, even if we never said it out loud. We kept telling ourselves that everything was perfectly fine, but the stress was always there, quietly humming beneath the surface. Every unexpected cost felt like a small disaster all its own. There was never any room left to breathe or to recover. A broken appliance or a car repair could ruin our entire month. We were living our whole lives with no safety cushion at all. Then came the month when it all finally caught up with us. Several bills arrived at once, and the money simply was not there. We looked at each other, and we did not know what to say. I remember staring at that table, feeling completely and utterly trapped. That heavy, sinking feeling in my chest is one I will never forget. We were not lazy, and we were certainly not foolish. We were simply living the way we had been taught, and it was failing us. That night, after the children were asleep, we finally faced the truth. We simply could not keep living one emergency away from total disaster. Something deep inside of us had finally had enough. We were simply tired of being afraid in our own home. And that quiet moment of fear became the start of everything good. Because rock bottom, it turns out, is a surprisingly solid place to build. The very next morning, we made a firm promise to each other. We were going to take back control of our money and our lives. No more drifting, and no more hoping things would somehow fix themselves. But we did not just want to survive from one paycheck to the next. We wanted to build something solid that could not be easily shaken. So we set ourselves two clear and very simple goals. They were easy to remember and even easier to begin. First, we would cut our spending down as far as we possibly could. And second, we would use all of that freed up money to prepare. We realized that cutting bills and prepping were two halves of one idea. Both were really about becoming far less fragile and much more free. A strong family is simply one that does not break under pressure. The less we spent, the less we needed to earn just to survive. And the more we stored away, the safer our family became. It was not about fear, and it was not about hiding from the world. It was about building a life that could truly stand on its own. We stopped seeing money as something to spend the moment we had it. Every coin suddenly held a whole new kind of meaning for us. And we started seeing it as a tool to build our own security. Every dollar we did not waste became a dollar that could protect us. We did not have a fancy plan or any kind of special training. We just had a clear reason and a real determination to change. So we rolled up our sleeves and finally got to work. There was no more waiting around for the perfect time to begin, and the very first thing we did was shine a light on the problem. Because you simply cannot fix what you refuse to look at. And what we found there honestly shocked us to the core. The first step was to find out where our money was actually going. So we sat down together and looked at every single thing we spent. Nothing was too small for us to write down and examine. It was uncomfortable, and honestly, it was more than a little embarrassing. But it turned out to be the most important thing we ever did. We laid it all out and finally faced the full, honest picture. And the truth was hiding inside 100 tiny little leaks. It was not one big expense that was quietly draining us dry. It was dozens of small ones that we had stopped even noticing. The tiny, forgotten costs were the ones doing the real damage. There were subscriptions we had completely forgotten we even had. There was food we bought every week and then simply threw away. There were little daily treats that quietly added up to a small fortune. Each one felt far too small to really matter on its own. But altogether, they were quietly bleeding us completely dry. It was truly death by 1,000 tiny little cuts. Seeing it all in one single place was a genuine wake-up call. We had been so busy that we never once stopped to add it all up. And the total was so much larger than we had ever imagined. But strangely enough, that discovery actually filled us with hope. Because every wasteful expense was really a chance to save. Every leak we found was money that we could take right back. For the very first time, the whole problem finally felt solvable. We were no longer staring at a mystery we could not understand. We were no longer helpless, and we finally had a real plan. All that money was still there, just quietly waiting to be reclaimed. So we listed out everything that we could possibly cut. And then, one by one, we finally began to cut them. Each cut felt like taking back a small piece of our freedom. Cutting our bills turned out to be far easier than we had feared. We started with the subscriptions we had barely ever used. It was the perfect place to begin, quick and completely painless. One by one, we canceled all the things we would never miss. It felt strangely satisfying to finally let each one go. And to our surprise, we did not miss a single one of them. Next, we bravely tackled the biggest bills in our whole home. We found simple, clever ways to slash our energy costs. We sealed up the drafts and let the warm sunlight heat our rooms. We turned off every light that we were not actually using. We learned to be mindful of every small bit of waste, and our energy bills quietly and steadily began to shrink. Then we turned all of our attention to the food we bought. We had been wasting a truly shocking amount of it every week. So we started planning all of our meals with real care. We cooked warm meals at home instead of buying costly convenience. We used up all our leftovers instead of throwing them away. And we bought simple, basic ingredients together in bulk. Cooking from scratch turned out to be cheaper and far tastier. Our grocery spending dropped, and yet our meals actually got better. Little by little, our monthly bills simply melted away. Money that used to vanish now happily stayed in our pockets. And with each and every bill we cut, we felt a little lighter. That constant low-level stress finally began to fade away. Our home felt calmer with every single bill that disappeared. We were spending far less, and yet we were living just as well. In fact, in so many ways, we were living even better than before. And for the first time in years, we actually had money left over. It was a small amount at first, but it felt absolutely enormous. The only real question left was what we should do with it.
We easily could have just spent that extra money on ourselves, and that is exactly what we would have done in the past. But this time, we remembered the promise we had made. We were going to build real security, not just fleeting comfort. So instead of spending it, we gave every extra dollar a real job. Idle money is simply money that quietly slips away. And that job was to protect and provide for our family. We began turning all of our savings into real, useful supplies: food, water, and the simple basics that every family truly needs. We started with the things we would surely use no matter what. We were no longer just saving money for its own empty sake. We were converting it into something we could actually use. Money sitting in a bank can slowly lose its value over time, but a full pantry only grows more precious when times get hard.
You simply cannot eat a bank statement when the shelves go bare. We came to think of it as savings that we could actually eat. Every dollar we stored became more good food on our shelves, and every jar on the shelf was one less worry in our minds. It felt completely different from simply spending money away. Each purchase we made left our family a little bit stronger. It was the exact opposite of the old, draining kind of spending. We were building a wall of security, one small brick at a time. And the more we built, the calmer and steadier we became. Slowly, our home began to feel like a true and lasting safe harbor, a place that could weather absolutely any storm the world might send. Our security was no longer some far-off, distant dream. And so, brick by brick, we truly began to build our pantry. Building up our pantry slowly became a steady, comforting habit. We did not try to do it all at once or spend a fortune. Instead, we simply added just a little bit extra every week. Slow and steady always beats fast and overwhelming. On every single shopping trip, we bought one or two extra things, a few extra cans, a bag of rice, and some more clean water. It was cheap, it was simple, and it barely hurt our budget at all. But week after week, all those small amounts really added up. Consistency turned out to be our single greatest secret weapon. Slowly, our shelves began to fill with good, lasting food. We focused only on the foods our family already loved to eat. There was simply no point in storing things we would never touch. We chose simple staples that could easily last for a very long time. These were foods that would still be good many years from now. Rice, beans, oats, and canned goods became our solid foundation. We learned to store them properly so they would keep for years. And we always used the oldest food first, so nothing was ever wasted. Our pantry slowly became a living, breathing part of our home. It was not a bunker, and it was not hidden away out of fear. It was simply a normal, sensible, everyday part of our kitchen. Anyone who visited would see nothing strange about it at all. And every time I looked at those full shelves, I felt truly proud. We had turned our old, wasteful habits into real, lasting security. That growing pantry was living proof of just how far we had come. But food was only one small part of becoming truly self-reliant. Because real security is about so much more than just what you store. It is also about what you can do with your own two hands.
The very next thing we did was learn to do much more for ourselves. For years, we had paid other people to do almost everything for us. We had slowly and quietly forgotten how to do things ourselves. When something broke, we simply paid to have it fixed or replaced. But every single one of those services quietly cost us money. So we decided to start learning some simple and useful skills. We started small, with the very easiest things first. We learned to cook proper, hearty meals from basic ingredients. We learned to repair small things instead of just throwing them out. We learned to patch, to mend, and to make our things truly last. We even started growing a little bit of our own food. There is a quiet magic in eating what you grew yourself. A small garden gave us fresh vegetables for almost nothing at all. Each new skill saved us money we used to spend without a thought. But those skills gave us something even better than the savings. They gave us a deep and quiet confidence in our own abilities. We were no longer helpless whenever something went wrong. We could handle most small problems with our own two hands. That feeling of capability was worth even more than the money itself. Confidence, it turns out, is its very own kind of wealth. Every new skill we learned made us just a little bit more free. We depended less and less on others and more on ourselves. And that new independence changed how we saw the entire world. We realized just how much we were all truly capable of. The more we learned, the stronger our whole family became. Each of us grew more capable with every passing month. But there was still one more thing that we needed to prepare for. We knew that one day, sooner or later, the power might go out. Storms, outages, and breakdowns are simply an ordinary part of life. It is really not a question of if, but simply of when. And when the power fails, a modern home stops working very fast. The heat, the light, and the water can all disappear at once. So we made sure we would never be left completely in the dark. We gathered simple, reliable ways to make our own light. Never again would the darkness catch us by surprise. We stored away lanterns, candles, and plenty of spare batteries.
We found a safe way to keep our whole family warm without power, and we set aside a very good supply of clean drinking water. We learned to cook without relying on the power grid at all. A warm meal can bring real comfort even on the coldest night. A small stove meant we could always make a warm, hot meal. We kept a little cash on hand for when the machines went down. None of it was expensive, and none of it was very complicated. It just took a little planning and a little bit of foresight. But altogether, it meant we were ready for almost anything. A power outage would no longer be a frightening emergency for us. Instead, it would simply become a quiet, cozy evening at home. We had removed the fear from something that terrifies most people. And that deep peace of mind was worth every bit of the effort. Our home had truly become a place of safety and calm. We had built a shelter for both the body and the mind. But little did we know, that preparation was about to be tested. Because not long after, the real test finally arrived. And it would show us exactly what we had truly managed to build. It happened on an ordinary and completely unremarkable winter evening. One moment, everything around us was completely normal. And the very next moment, the entire neighborhood went dark. A powerful storm had knocked the power out for miles all around. It was exactly the kind of moment we had prepared for. Outside, the wind howled and the temperature began to plummet. In the homes all around us, we could feel the panic beginning. But inside our own home, something truly remarkable happened. There was no fear at all, and there was no frantic scramble. Nothing really changed, and nobody panicked even a little. We simply lit our lanterns and filled the whole room with warm light. We started up our little stove and put on a big pot of soup. The children were warm, safe, and completely and utterly at ease. To them, it felt almost like a cozy little adventure. While the world outside grew cold and dark and truly frightening, our home stayed warm, bright, and full of quiet, gentle comfort. We had light, we had heat, and we had plenty of good food. Everything that we had prepared for was suddenly and quietly saving us. Our neighbors, meanwhile, had nothing at all set aside for this. Some of them came knocking on our door, cold and a little scared. And because we had prepared so well, we had more than enough to share. Our preparation had quietly become a gift for others as well. We gave them light, we gave them warmth, and we gave them food. That night, our little home became a bright beacon on a dark street. The power stayed out for 3 long and very cold days. And for all 3 of those days, our family never once went without. We stayed calm while the world all around us struggled. That was the moment we knew that every bit of it had been worth it. Every small effort had quietly paid us back 100 times over. All those tiny changes had led us to this one calm and safe night.
When the power finally came back on, we were truly different people. That single night had shown us exactly what we had built. But here's the part that truly surprised us the most. It was not at all what we had expected to find. The best thing we gained was not the money that we saved, and it was not even the full pantry or the backup supplies. The very greatest change of all had happened deep inside of us. For the first time in years, we were simply no longer afraid. The heavy weight we had carried for so long was finally gone. That constant, quiet fear about money had completely vanished. We no longer lay awake at night, worrying endlessly about the bills. We no longer felt like we were one emergency away from disaster. Instead, we felt calm, capable, and completely in control of our lives. That deep sense of peace was the real treasure we had truly found. No amount of spending could ever have possibly bought it. The money and the food were both wonderful, of course, but the calm that they gave us was worth so very much more. We had traded fear and stress for security and real freedom. Our home felt lighter, and our whole family felt so much closer. We spent far more time together and far less time worrying. Our home became a place of laughter instead of tension. We had rediscovered a simpler and far more meaningful way to live. And it all began with one decision to stop wasting our money. Cutting our bills had done far more than simply save us money. It had given us back full control over our entire lives. And control, we learned, is exactly where real peace begins. That was the one change that mattered more than any other. Not the savings and not the supplies, but the true peace of mind. And that peace is something that money simply cannot ever buy. Now, I want to be completely and totally honest with you. This journey was not always easy, and it was not always fun. Cutting back did mean giving up some things that we truly enjoyed. But we gained far more than we ever actually had to give up. In the very beginning, some of those changes felt like a real sacrifice. We had to break old habits that were deeply comfortable to us. And honestly, that took real effort and a whole lot of patience. There were certainly moments when we simply wanted to give up, but we reminded ourselves why we had started in the first place. Watching others spend so freely while we held back was genuinely hard. But slowly, our new habits began to feel completely normal, and the rewards very quickly grew far greater than the sacrifices. We soon discovered we never actually needed most of what we gave up. The things we thought we needed were not really needs at all, and the peace we gained made every small sacrifice deeply worth it. Looking back now, we would not change a single thing. I will not pretend to you that it was effortless or instant, but I can truly promise you that it was absolutely worth it. Anything that is truly worth having takes a little effort to build. The best things in life are very rarely the easiest ones, and the security of your family is worth every single bit of it. So do not expect it to be perfect, and please do not give up, because the life that is waiting on the other side is worth the climb. And getting started is honestly much simpler than you might think. So how exactly can you begin this same journey for your own family? The good news is that you can start today, right now. And you can begin with the very smallest and simplest of steps. First, take an honest look at exactly where your money is going. Find the small leaks that are quietly draining you every month. You will very likely find far more of them than you expect. Cancel the things that you pay for but hardly ever really use. You will be amazed at just how much you can save right away. Next, take a little of that saved money and buy some extra food. Just a few extra items on your very next trip to the store. Begin building a small pantry, patiently, just one item at a time. Watch with quiet pride as your shelves slowly begin to fill. Store some water, and find a simple way to make light and heat. You truly do not need to spend a fortune to feel secure. A few dollars a week is really all it takes to begin. Then, start learning just one small and useful skill at a time. Learn to cook, learn to mend, or learn to grow a little food. Just pick one of them and simply start there. Each skill you learn will save you money and build your confidence. And remember that none of this needs to happen all at once. Small, steady steps will carry you so much further than you imagine. The journey of a lifetime always begins with a single choice. The single most important thing is simply to begin. Do not wait for the perfect moment, because it will never truly come. Just take that first small step today, and then another one tomorrow. Before you even know it, your home will feel secure and calm, and you will have built something that is truly worth protecting. Your future self will surely thank you for starting right now, because the very best time to prepare is always today.
2 years ago, we were drowning and we felt completely trapped. Today, we are free, we are secure, and we are truly at peace. And it all started with just 2 very simple decisions. We cut our bills, and then we started to prepare. Those 2 small choices completely and forever changed our lives. We are not special, and we did not have any special advantages. We simply decided to take control, and we refused to give up. That single decision made all the difference in the whole world. And if we were able to do it, then you can absolutely do it too. It truly does not matter where you are starting from today. Every expert was once a beginner, just exactly like you. All that really matters is that you take that very first step. So start small, stay steady, and never give up on your family. Build a life that is secure, peaceful, and truly all your own. A life where fear simply no longer has any place at all. Become the calm and the strength that your family can always rely on. If our story has inspired you, then please subscribe and join us. Here, we help ordinary families become calm, capable, and truly ready. Your own journey to a stronger and freer life can begin right now. So take that first step today and start building your own peace. Your family is counting on you, and you are truly ready for this. Because the calmest and safest families are always the ones who start.